I thought it would be a good bubble in my throat. Hey guys, and welcome back. I have not done a sit-down video in a really long time. Today I decided to share some tips on how to pack for trips. Basically all the stuff you do before you pack. So hang on, let me get my face right and then we'll get down to it. I wanted to talk about some things you can do before you actually take off on a vacation.
We're going on a trip!
Things you do before you even pack a bag. They are called lists. I'm just going to do a quick run through of my technique to prepare for a vacation.
Because it is 5 Things Friday.
I'm the type of person that when it comes to going on road trips or traveling somewhere, I can get crazy leading up to the actual departure date. So like 48 hours in advance, I'm just like pulling my hair out, wondering where the time went, and wondering why I managed yet again to get my butt on the fire.
Light a fire under my butt. Having to have a fire. Lighting a fire under my own butt. And I'm lighting the fire.
You know what I'm saying. I work better under pressure, and I've always been like this. No matter how hard I try to avoid the pressure. I thought it'd be a good idea to kind of go through my process that I'm really trying to stick with for this trip. Shall we get started? First of all, before you even touch a suitcase or a duffel, you should mentally prepare yourself. You should think about the amount of work that lies ahead. If you are going to do this, you need to figure out what kind of trip you're taking. Is it just a weekender? Are you leaving the country? All these things go into consideration because you need to know, how much time do I have to prepare? Do I need to shop? Do I even have a budget? You cannot do this in your head, people. You're gonna have to write it down, type it out, sticky note it to everything in your house. What I've learned, to be sure that you're following steps. In order to have steps, you have to be organized in your method.
There's a ton of madness in my own method.
I'm a list person. I like to write things down because that's like a brain dump for me onto paper. I'd prefer to write it because I don't want to sit on my phone and just, do this every time I get to check something off a list. Lists are your best friend. You should create a list for everything. There are all kinds of lists you guys can make in order to plan out a trip. I'm sure this is totally a no-brainer for a lot of you, but just to kind of get inside my head and think about what I think about when I need to make a list, when I need to plan something, let me just break it down and show you how I do it. The first list I made for this trip, the very first list I made was a budget list.
Good job, Dee. I know.
I figured out how much money a family of 6 would need, considering we have a kitchen in the resort we're staying, how many nights we want to eat out, what we want to spend fun money on, and fun money can, you can determine what that might be. You also want to do groceries, you want to have backup cash for, if your Amazon shipment of like 10 things of sunblock don't show up. You want to be able to pay for those things and not have it come as a surprise. That was done probably in March. The second kind of list is something that you'd probably do a couple months out when you want to take care of things way before the event, way before your trip has been planned. Such as pet care. Who's gonna watch your pup? If you need to give him shots or whatever, there's a certain time before you can do that, before you can board him. If you're leaving it with a friend,
that's a really good friend.
you probably want to pay them. Probably the month of the trip is maybe 4 weeks, 3 weeks. You want to make a list of all the things you've got to take care of, such as bills. If you're like me and have some bills that are not quite automatic, you might want to go ahead and pay those so you don't incur any late fees. Another list that you might not think about is a list for the week of. The things you gotta do a week in advance, things you wanna do 2 nights in advance, things you wanna do the night before, and things you wanna do the morning of, or whenever you're leaving. The week of, you'll also want to start finalizing your packing lists, and I'll get into that in a second. Go through and take everything that you had in your mind and just brain dump it onto paper, because you're gonna hate it if you forget something. Jot down all the things you might possibly want to pack. Later on, you'll go and finalize that. This is very important. You've got to have the list for the night before and the day of, for the things you need to do the night before. Very important. Almost as important as the budget part, especially if you're leaving for an extended period of time. I worry about everyone and their things, and I can become overwhelmed, so it's very important to have a list. You might want to have everyone's luggage by the door. You might want to make sure the vehicles are gassed up. All electronics you're not going to be using that night, all packed up and ready to go. You'll want a list for the day of, because there are things you need to check off before you leave. You didn't leave any candles on, which I don't know who lights a candle when they're getting ready to leave, but I'm sure there's someone out there. You also want to make sure you've turned everything off, you lock all the doors, you know where you put your spare key. If you're giving your key to someone to check your mail or whatever, you want to make sure that you didn't forget to give them the key. You want to make sure you don't have any trash in your house that you forgot to take outside. That can be stinky. You write all this stuff down. That you've got your cash. You've drawn out cash from your bank and you've put it in a safe place, the amount of cash you plan on taking to begin with. Another very big list that you're gonna need to make is everything that you're taking with you. In that umbrella underneath.
This is an umbrella. I am underneath it.
Underneath the umbrella of things I need to pack, there should be a bunch of other lists, like a bunch. Clothing. I don't know how many times I've had to go out and buy something because one of them was not prepared with the item that they needed. Electronics, the chargers and all that, like everything electronic that you can think of. A food list. If you're going somewhere where you've got your own kitchen, but maybe you don't want to go out and buy everything. Kitchen items, if you're going to be cooking somewhere else. If you're driving, you're gonna wanna write all the snacks you want to go and get and have ready. Drinks too. Another list you might want are accessories after you've decided that you are willing to bring those with you as well and give up some cargo space. Outdoor chairs, cooler, blankets. The list I would include is a toiletry list because everyone has their own needs. I told you I was a crazy list person, didn't I? As a recap, I've went ahead and made lists for the budget, things to do a month in advance, things to do the week of, and all the lists for packing. There are a ton of them for packing, especially because there's different areas of the house and of, your personal needs that you're gonna wanna cover. Those are clothing, toiletries, food items, outdoorsy stuff, and accessories. Oh, and snacks for the road. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed my video. I look forward to posting another 5 Things Friday. Oh gosh, was that even 5?
Don't watch that like you.
They can't see it.
I love
All
you
right,
guys. Bye bye.
I might not have made that 5 Things Friday list. Might be a 4. I just got really into the packing list because that's where I am right now, is the packing part. I hope you guys tune in next week for my 5 Things Friday, and I will see you later. Because I'm weird like that. Oh gosh, what was it? That's good. Okay? I just thought of that. I honestly, I don't have a garden like that. Not that cool yet.